Howdy YouTube, Mike Howell here for Naps, New Age Pipe Smokers. Hope y'all are doing well today. I'm doing about as fantastic as can be. Just finished up with work, and it's January in the St. Louis area, so normally, it would be 20 degrees Fahrenheit or so right now on average, and it's about 62 right now. I'm not sure what that is exactly in Celsius, but it's warm, very nice. Not covered in snow. So I'm just going to enjoy it and not complain. Finishing up a bowl of Sterling Flake. I didn't have time to finish at lunch. This is really good stuff. It's almost identical to Irish Flake. I don't think I can tell the difference between the two. Both delicious. So I wanted to talk today about some of the forbidden topics in most pipe groups on Facebook. I think almost everyone watching this probably found our channel through the New Age Pipe Smokers Facebook group, but just in case you didn't, Naps is started as a Facebook group. We've got a couple thousand members. I can't remember exactly how many now, but it's a really awesome community, and I'm super, super happy to be a part of it. And one of the reasons we founded that group is because pretty much every other Facebook pipe group, all the bigger ones anyway, they have some very strict rules about the content in their groups. Some of which I can understand. Some of them I understand why it's less of a headache for the admins to implement these rules, but I don't think they're necessarily a good thing. Rules like no politics, no guns, no marijuana. Some of the pipe groups even get upset about you posting pictures of cigars. But politics and religion are two of the biggest triggers. Not that most of them ban posts about religion, but they definitely ban any kind of discussion about it that goes beyond the entirely pleasant, straightforward, just here it is. And I know that most groups do that. They ban these discussions of these topics because they don't want to have to deal with some of the inevitable vitriol that comes from it. The world's pretty divided, or our culture in America and pretty much everywhere. There's a lot of division right now. If you bring up the subjects of politics or religion, you're going to find an argument waiting for you 9 times out of 10. And ironically, I think that's the exact reason that we need to talk about these things. Especially in communities like ours, where we come from such a wide variety of backgrounds, and we're such a, different group of people from all over the world, in different countries, different cultures, different religious backgrounds, different genders, different sexualities, just different everything, different economic backgrounds, different professions. But we all have one thing that we can bond over, and that's pipes and tobacco that we all love. That's why we're here in this group. And when you have that thing to bond over, that one bridge across the gap, it makes us start to look at each other more as friends and more as a community, and less as just some random person on the other side of a screen. And when you get to know people, you start to understand them a little bit. It seems a little different than when you see people you don't know, and when it's someone you're in a community with that you already have become somewhat friends with, and suddenly you realize they are of a different religion than you, or an opposing political ideology, or they smoke marijuana, or they're gay, or they're transgender, or they're an atheist, or take your pick of what the things that divide us nowadays. But when we realize that about a friend, it's harder to make that person seem like an other, like so much different than us. It's harder to, at least for me anyway, and I've noticed with a lot of people, it's harder to just be hateful to them or want to cuss them out or disagree with them immediately, or just discount anything they have to say and be like, oh, you're full of shit, you're one of those, insert your particular ideology here. It makes us more apt to listen and to understand. And I think that's why we need to talk about these things in our communities. Yeah, it's gonna get some people aggro at each other. There was someone the other day that posted a picture of some of their crystals charging, and that's their religion, and they had some bowls of tobacco with them, and most people were really cool about it, but a couple people made snide comments. I just got rid of them, get rid of the comments and tell people, hey, that's not welcome here, move on. And that's what we normally do when we come across people just being dickheads, or especially, if we come across people just being blatant bigots, things like that, then we boot them. There's a line. There's always a line, but for the most part, we want people to be able to come together and discuss these things. And also, even if you think somebody's full of shit, your opinion's not always necessarily invited, but we can find ways to express our differences and talk to each other about them without having to necessarily, just because we don't agree with each other or share those same, our same beliefs and ideologies, we don't necessarily have to dislike each other or be disrespectful to each other about it, even if they're very different and even if we don't agree, as long as nobody's being hurt. And on the subject of pot in particular, another one of the reasons we started the NAPS group is because not only did a lot of us want to get away from the way a lot of those other pipe groups were, because they're all very uptight and have such uptight rules, a lot of us have been banned from a lot of them for talking about these forbidden subjects. And I know pot was one of them for me, because to me smoking marijuana and smoking tobacco are both hobbies I enjoy, and because they're both smoking hobbies, they intersect a whole lot. There's a lot of common ground there, and I feel like it's a waste to not be able to cover that common ground. And the same in a lot of other areas too. It's a waste for us to not explore this common ground as a community. And most of those other groups are nope, absolutely not. And while I understand why a lot of them, they don't want to have to go through the trouble of weeding out people who are just coming in to post pictures of bongs or whatever, because it is a tobacco-centric group, I don't know, I feel like it's worth the extra effort to be able to have a group where we can speak more openly and discuss these things with each other and get to know each other better. It can make it a little hard to, on the moderators. Luckily with NAPS, we're lucky. We have a really great mod team, and there's always a few of us, there's always at least one of us pretty much at almost any time that'll be able to answer a message or figure out an issue if something happens. And, you know, some of the other groups, bigger groups than ours, only have a couple admins trying to handle everything. So I get it. I just, I feel like it's really a disservice to our community as pipe smokers as a whole to take one of the only venues we have to all really connect and say, you can't talk about this, you can't talk about this, you can't talk about this. Not because there's anything wrong with any of these subjects, but because we don't want to have to deal with it just in case something goes wrong. It's one of the only things I wholeheartedly disagreed with old Mutton Chop about. Guy taught me how to smoke a pipe with his videos. We even, you know, jokingly, not jokingly, named our weekly video chat the Siemens Mantle. We called it the Mantle because that's Mutton Chop's word for the gathering of pipe smokers, and you know, Seaman fucking hates it. So yeah. But when he said no religion or politics, no, man, no. Those are some of the most intellectually stimulating subjects that human beings can discuss. Like, why would we cut that out? Why would we take so much material that we could exchange from mind to mind and be like, nah, we're gonna give all that up? I mean, I know there's other places to talk about those things, but I want to be able to talk about them with my pipe smoking friends too. And you know, the more we cultivate better exchanges between people who aren't on the same page all the time about these topics, these forbidden topics, I mean, we're only making the world a better place if we can help people to understand one another and talk to each other on, you know, a more personal level without worrying about which side of the political aisle you're on, or you know, what, you know, pick whatever subject divides people. We're always slapping labels on each other and deciding whether we like a person or not, or what we think of them, not based on the content of their character, but based on these arbitrary labels that are often not even applied by people to themselves, but applied by others, and they just end up tangentially getting pulled into these polarized groups. I don't know. I could ramble on and keep repeating myself about this same going in loops all day, but I guess my point is that the hassle of having to moderate discussions about these is worth it. It's a worthwhile endeavor because these are subjects that are beneficial to discuss, and the lack of civil discussion on these subjects creates a whole lot of strife in the world. So we need to cultivate civil discussions about these subjects. We can't do that if we don't talk about them. Yup. Well, I guess I've rambled on long enough. For those of you who like to participate in the Mantle, we're moving it over to Zoom this week. The NAPS community came through and just made it to where the cost was pretty much almost completely covered. So we have our Zoom Pro membership now. We can have nice longer meetings and maybe even record some of them for the YouTube channel if we could keep them at least, you know, almost PG-13. But the link is, as always, will be pinned at the top of the NAPS Facebook group. Just got to download the Zoom app if you don't have it already and join in. 7 p.m. Central Standard Time every Thursday. Sometimes we even talk about religion and politics without telling each other to fuck off. Sometimes we just talk about boring shit like tobacco and midget porn. Just got to join in to find out. Yep, I'm going to get the hell out of here and go home, get some dinner, try to relax, get back at this shit tomorrow. So remember, y'all, the universe might piss down the back of your neck every single day, but it will only drown you once. So keep your fucking chin up. Later.